Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Amen.
You're on your own.
Okay. Oh, there's Bob. Roll call, please.
Mayor Orr?
Here.
Councilman Baker?
Here.
Councilman Martinez?
Here.
Councilwoman Pilkington? Councilman Edwards?
Here.
Councilwoman Henninger? Here. And Councilman Villagrana?
Here.
Okay. We need approval of the minutes of the regular meeting, February 18th, 2014.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of February 18th, 2014 as written.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Did you get them both? Roll call, please.
Villagrana?
Aye.
Martinez?
Aye.
Baker?
Aye.
Edwards?
Aye.
Henninger? Aye. Mayor Orr?
Aye.
6 ayes.
Okay, next we move on to public hearing, the Elk Special Event Permits, March 15th, 2014 Fireman's Ball, and March 22nd, 2014 Chamber of Commerce Banquet. Is there anyone here from either one to talk about it? Brutal's here from the chamber.
Brutal's here.
And he'll get to you on the other one as soon as this public hearing is done.
So you're not having no one talk about these. Anyone for the Fireman's Ball? Going?
Yeah.
I guess not. So we just need a motion to pass them, I guess, huh?
Let's open the hearing and see if anybody wants council's question.
Anyone want any arguments or derogatory about it?
No street closures, anything like
No.
that's all contained
Inside.
within
It's all inside.
business as normal, right?
No, this is down at the Elks.
No, this is inside.
It's just indoor events, banquets and that.
It's a public hearing.
Anyone in the public want to enlighten us about this? Or any comments about this? If no, then I guess we need a motion to
Go ahead and close the public hearing.
okay, we'll close the public hearing and go
We do
to,
go to
yeah.
I'll make a motion that we approve both events for the Florence Elks, number 611, one being for the chamber, and the other one for the Fireman's Ball. We have two different dates here.
March 15th.
Yeah, March 15th, is it?
Yeah,
And the other date is?
22nd.
Well, March 22nd. Oh, okay.
Second.
Here we have first and second. Roll call, please.
Baker?
Aye.
Villagrana?
Aye.
Henninger? Aye. Edwards?
Aye.
Martinez?
Aye.
And Mayor Orr?
Aye. Okay, move down to visitors. First visitor is going to be Rudel. Still representing the Chamber of Commerce.
Rudel Mergelman, 617 East Main Street, Florence, Colorado. I'm here tonight as a committee member of the Chamber of Commerce. And you have a letter in your packet, I think the Chamber of Office brought over today, about we're going to be asking permission, consideration to close Main Street on the 100 block on June the 13th in the afternoon and into the evening, and on June the 14th for the day, that's Friday and a Saturday. And that is for a newly proposed Arts and Antiques Fair, which goes back and kind of hopefully revitalizes Customer Appreciation Day, Art of the Art Walk downtown, and in conjunction with Second Saturday. Plus, we're going to elaborate on it by inviting vendors and antique people to come and set up in the middle of Main Street for a day and a half. And I just wanted to be here to answer questions if there's.
Larry?
The time period on Friday and as well as Saturday, has that been established yet?
I think on there, I think it's in the letter. I think it says something about,
10
the
a.m.
plan was Friday afternoon into Friday evening, and then Saturday up till like 5. The idea of the Friday thing was to have an evening type event, or maybe we could get the restaurants involved and plus give people a place to come after work. There's a lot of these fairs going on in the area, but nobody really has an evening type event. So we thought maybe if we could do it in the evening, we could maybe attract some people.
On the, you had the time here for Friday from 10 o'clock until 7? And then on Saturday, same thing?
Yeah, I think the 10 o'clock till 7 is 10 o'clock until noon would be setup time.
All right. Okay.
And the preliminary plan is to set the booths up right down the middle of the street, back to back. Then we would have a walk lane or a drive lane, the street would be closed on both sides. And then we would ask the stores, the retail people, if they would just come out onto the sidewalk. And then we would have a fair on both sides and have just kind of a circle to walk around on the inside. That's the plan. And we would also have some, depending, I don't know, maybe some outside food vendors and some entertainment throughout the day and into the evening, as well as the booths. And we would encourage some antique and collectible dealers. Plus, we would go ahead and extend our invitation to local artists and regional artists to come and set up either in a booth of their own or in the stores like we have in the past. Just trying to get it all maybe kind of rejuvenated.
Anyone else in comments? Mr. Edwards?
Just on something like this, if I got it right, we spoke about it a little earlier today, we would have to make, before we move on this, which will probably be our next meeting, to give them ample time to get everything in order. Go ahead, Mike. You may.
Rula and I spoke about it briefly just before. He understands that we need to go to the State Patrol and get authorization from the State Patrol.
We just did one.
Obviously, we probably want the merchants to tell us they like the idea too, but I think that's probably going to take care of itself. But yeah, I think we've got enough time, but this gives us a lot of time to prepare, gives them time to advertise for vendors and that kind of stuff.
The Chamber would appreciate your consideration on this. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay.
The one other question that was just reminded me of, insurance. Just make sure that you talk to the insurance.
I'm sure you'll pick it up.
You'll pick it up.
We were waiting, we know, we'll have to see the length of time we have it, and we expect to pay the insurance. Okay?
You said that closing Pikes Peak and Santa Fe, or just Santa Fe?
Pikes Peak to Santa Fe.
In the center there.
Right down Main Street.
Okay.
We won't be closing any laterals, just
Okay.
one block of this one.
All right.
Paul?
If you're ready for a motion,
We're just
No, we need
taking
to hear from the State
consideration.
Patrol. The State
I
Patrol
was going to make a motion that we table it until March 17th after they had a chance to talk to
Do that or not? So,
Or the coming on visitors, does it have to be tabled?
No. Okay. Okay.
okay. We'll take it into consideration then. That's what we need to do. All right. Any other visitors that want to speak about anything? No? Okay. We'll move to old business. Second reading of ordinance 3-2014, extending moratorium on recreational marijuana. I just,
No discussion?
yeah.
I'll make a motion that we approve on the second reading, ordinance 3-2014, extending the moratorium on recreational marijuana.
Second.
Have a first and a second. Any discussion on the matter? Okay. Roll call, please.
Baker.
Aye.
Henninger. Aye. Martinez.
Aye.
Edwards.
Aye.
Villagrana.
Aye.
Mayor Orr.
Aye. Okay, second reading of ordinance 4-2014, snow removal.
I'll make the motion that we approve the second reading of the ordinance 4-2014, snow removal.
I'll second.
We have a first and second. Any discussion on the matter? Okay, roll call.
Baker.
Aye.
Henninger.
Aye.
Villagrana.
Aye.
Edwards.
Aye.
Martinez.
Aye.
Mayor Orr.
Aye. Second reading of ordinance 5-2014, commitments of terms. Do you want to talk on it, or
Unless you want.
does anyone need him to explain that further to you? Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I motion that we approve the second reading of ordinance 5-214, an ordinance to establish the date for commencement of terms for seats on city council pursuant to CRS 31-4-105.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any more discussion on the matter? Okay. Roll call, please.
Edwards.
Edwards.
Aye. I'm sorry.
Villagrana.
Aye.
Henninger. Aye. Martinez.
Aye.
Baker.
Aye.
Mayor Orr.
Aye.
6 ayes.
Okay, we're moving on to new business. First reading ordinance 6-2014 for extension of the franchise agreement with Charter.
As you may recall, Charter took over the cable franchise here in Florence a few years ago. It is time for their franchise to be renewed. We're asking just to extend it to August 1st for the moment, so we can work through any negotiations that, if there's any changes the council desires to see in the franchise agreement.
We need to read that.
Dory, if you would you read that for us?
Ordinance 6-2014, an ordinance extending the franchise agreement between the City of Florence as grantor and Bresnan Communications LLC, Charter Communications Incorporated, ASSECNY, grantee. Whereas the parties to the above franchise desire additional time to negotiate the terms of the new franchise agreement to provide for the regulation and the use of cable system owned by Charter Communications Incorporated. And whereas the current franchise agreement provides at paragraph 8.6 thereof that the agreement may be extended by mutual agreement of the parties. And whereas the parties mutually agree to extend the current franchise to and including August 1st, 2014. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Florence as follows. The franchise agreement between the City of Florence and the current grantee, Charter Communications Incorporated, with an effective date of March 1, 2009, is hereby extended under the same terms and conditions up to and including August 1st, 2014. Number 2, the City Council hereby deems this ordinance necessary to the immediate preservation of the public health or safety of the citizens of Florence, of the citizens of the City of Florence, because of the expiration of the current franchise agreement and the need to replace the same with an interim agreement until a longer-term franchise can be negotiated between the parties.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the first reading of ordinance number 6-2014, extension of the franchise agreement for Charter Communications.
Second.
First and second, Tony the second. Any further discussion on this matter? Roll call, please.
Henninger. Aye. Martinez.
Aye.
Baker.
Aye.
Edwards.
Aye.
Villagrana.
Aye.
And Mayor Orr.
Aye. Next, we have the license agreement between the Colorado Springs and Muzzle Loaders for use of the mountain park. And this license all in, ready to go and everything? Everything's good on it for you?
Yes. This is the 39th annual muzzleloader shoot at Mountain Park. It's done Memorial Weekend every year. It's the same agreement that we've used in previous years. No changes. The dates on the license are May 21st through May 27th, which allows the days prior for setup and the days following for them to break down. So that's the term.
Mr. Edwards?
Yeah, I believe last year we kind of discussed it with them, and you guys can back me up on this. I believe that they set all the precautions in case of a fire danger and have suitable fire protection in case there was a problem. I
Yes.
think last year they was all set up and we never had any problem.
Section 8 provides for that as well.
The city always has our water truck up there for their use too.
I make a motion that we approve the agreement between the Colorado Springs Mussel Loaders with the city of Florence for the use of Florence Mountain Park, starting from May 24th, 25th, 26th, and clean up on the 27th, set up on Wednesday the 21st.
Second.
The first and second. Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Villagrana.
Aye.
Baker.
Aye.
Martinez.
Aye.
Henninger.
Aye.
Edwards.
Aye.
Mayor Orr.
Aye.
6 ayes.
Okay, next we have the liquor license renewal for the Creative Cork LLC at 106 West Main.
Mr. Mayor, I have a financial interest in the Creatives Cork. I would like to excuse myself from the room.
Okay. Please state your name and address, please.
Lisa Houston, 714 West 7th Street in Florence.
Tammy Harriman, 1107 West 3rd Street, Florence.
Me and Tammy are two owners of the Creatives Cork, and we're here to ask the council to consider renewing our liquor license.
Okay. Has there been any problems or anything with it?
Everything's in order.
Everything's in order? Dory?
Fees paid. All of your reports are attached. There have been no events.
No calls.
No calls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make a motion that we approve the liquor 3-2 beer license renewal application for the Creative Cork at 106 West Main Street in Florence.
Second.
We have first and second. Any further discussion on this matter? Okay. Roll call, please.
Villagrana.
Aye.
Edwards.
Aye.
Martinez.
Aye.
And Mayor Orr.
Aye.
5 ayes.
Did you call Baker? Did you even call him?
Oh, did you ask?
I didn't. It is I. But I didn't
I got
vote
it.
on the record.
I got you for a second. Okay. And Charlotte.
Aye, aye.
Charlotte has rejoined the meeting.
Get out of here quick.
Wait a second.
I do have eyeballs.
Look at these. Let's see. We have two of them. I was wondering why the second with the other one's yellow. Okay, mayor's report. I just wanted to report on our committee that we have of these volunteers that's doing our grants and that. We talked about it. I just want to thank them personally that you're doing a great job and that it's helping us out as a city tremendously. And that I'm glad that someone volunteered and stepped up to do this because that's quite the chore. And I want to thank you personally for this. And next, who do we go? Finance, isn't it? Or city attorneys?
As I indicated last time, next time I'll try to have some form of retail marijuana regulation in front of you to look at. I was thinking about that. We need to probably get the planning commission involved in this too, with respect to zone districts. Certain, if we plan on zoning this, which I'm assuming if the council's going to allow it, probably want it zoned as well.
Right.
Some recommendations from the planning commission in regard to that.
So we should put that on the, for a workshop and take it to the planning commission first. Is that, Don's giving us a look.
No, it makes sense to put it on the next planning commission agenda. What I'm concerned about is they have nothing to look at.
Right.
There's nothing to act upon, there's nothing to discuss except personal opinions at that point.
Right.
Is there some guidance that can be given?
I think my thought was that they would discuss, perhaps among themselves, what zoning districts might be appropriate for retail operations.
And should we discuss everybody who, because right now, we know that there'll be at least 2 requesting to come in. There could be a couple others that request to come in. Should we ask Planning Commission's opinion on everybody or wait till they've actually requested?
No, I would think that you would want the zoning code amendments in place so that they would be able to act upon any applications that, if that's the way it's going to go. Those applications may come directly to the city council.
So the goal is to set up specific zoning where different types of businesses are allowed, or any type, or what would be the goal?
Well, there's essentially 4 types of retail marijuana. There are the retail shops, there are the testing centers, there's growing operations, there's infused product manufacturing operations.
How does medical fit in there?
It doesn't, and that may be something else that they want to look at. Right now, of course, we have a permanent moratorium on medical.
But would there be any reason not to include that in this discussion?
No, I think it would be an appropriate discussion to have.
Have you researched any communities that have successfully done this? Is there an example of the types of zoning they don't allow, distances from schools, all that kind of stuff? So we're not reinventing something. Is there something that works somewhere that you found?
I could put some information together from some other municipalities, if that would be helpful.
Might save a lot of wheel spinning.
Sure.
But
Did you want
I
to?
seen something, it was last week in the, I'm almost sure it was in the Canyon City Daily Record, I could be mistaken. Something that was drawn up with the county, for the county to, and it showed a map. I believe that, I'm not sure if that's from the planning commission, but they shown something where it couldn't go compared to commercial, residential, then obviously the city limits. So they might have a little.
The difference would be the gross property sizes. Here we're dealing with quarter-acre lots as opposed to 35-acre pieces. Okay.
Two things to say. First off, when you first started talking, I didn't hear the word marijuana. I thought you were talking about annexations. When I was talking about one location, just to be clear, I had no idea, there was no discussion. I had no idea about any marijuana shops or anything like that. I apologize, but I thought you were talking about annexation. I did not hear your words clearly. That's my fault. But then
I'm not enunciating very well.
But then second thing, should we ask the city council, would it be appropriate to ask city council to have a joint meeting with the planning commission and discuss this amongst them? They do have potentially a meeting scheduled for March 13th. I know you all love to have more meetings, but something to consider, just something to consider whether or not you would want to do that.
Yeah, I think we should.
It'd be a workshop.
Be a workshop, so to speak.
No action could be taken out of it, but.
Right now, do we have anything scheduled for that date, for March 13th?
We're supposed to, but it hasn't arrived yet, so no.
Okay.
Okay. So we weren't otherwise going to have a planning commission meeting? Well, that might be a good night to have it.
Might be a good night to have it.
There's a zone change pending, but we haven't seen the application yet.
Okay.
March who? What date?
Let's just set that up.
March 13th. we'll
March
shoot for that.
13th.
So a week from Thursday.
Yeah, but
But
I won't be here.
Dawn's gone, so we'd have to do that without Dawn that night.
Oh, that's fine.
I think conversation would be productive.
Okay.
And what
So
time?
have the conversation.
just have a workshop that night.
Workshop.
No action will be taken.
One at a time.
Because there wouldn't be a planning commission meeting.
Right.
We just have a workshop at 6:30.
Mr. Edwards.
And I want to kind of ask you, or anybody else give any input, do you think that we're just wasting our time, you know, because obviously your time, the zoning commission, planning and zoning, everybody's time is pretty important. And should we make a decision on what we're going to do before we set something in motion? 'Cause I know your time,
Just said that.
We wouldn't be making a decision.
I mean, you know, that's something that I wonder about too, because everybody's kind of waiting upon our decision, what we're going to do, go with it, take it back to the voters or what have you. And I just hate to waste people's time if we're not going to do it. I don't know, I'm just kind of lost here, I guess.
Like he explained earlier, that you probably need to have something in place in case it does, then it's already there. We know where the zoning is and everything else on it, like our city attorney said. So it couldn't hurt because
I don't know how you move the process
Right.
forward without talking about it.
Right. One concern I have is many communities try to say so many feet from schools and daycare centers and all that. Well, in Florence, that limits you to a very limited area. So if those discussions could happen, you may decide that you don't need to do a lot because there's only 2 places in town that this can occur.
Yeah.
Right.
Might want to solve that problem in a discussion.
Are there state regulations on distances from school? Is that part of the state law, or is that separate for the?
I don't remember. I'll be able to inform the council and the planning commission about those things, though, when we get together.
To me, that's the number one question because it solves everything else if you have 1,000-foot limits or something.
It seemed to me there was something in there about schools, but there may be other sensitive areas such as daycare centers that we want to think about too.
exactly.
Going back to Mel's question, I think from the staff's perspective, and granted, we have the easy part of this, you have the tough part, you have to actually vote on it and make a decision in that regard. But yeah, it is a difficult situation. We're preparing rules that we may or may not need. So I obviously from the staff's perspective, knowing whether or not, if we're going to make the rules and they're not going to be used, we'd rather put the time into something else. But we also understand that the council may not be in a position right now where they've made their minds up. So we respect whichever direction you want to go, but you are right. It potentially becomes steps that we didn't need to take if you don't put anything in place.
What time will this workshop take place, please? On the
Planning
13th?
commission meetings are normally at 6:30.
6:30.
Is that okay with everybody?
So what time is the workshop?
6:30.
That's a record. So we're gonna do this during the record?
There is no regular meeting that night. There's no subject matter.
Oh, okay.
We're saying we'll try to get you copies of Manitou's that just went into effect and that kind of stuff, and possibly some other ones.
Double.
Yep, I think Pueblo, they have theirs in place, I think.
Okay.
County does, yeah.
County, and the county does. Did the county?
City manager's report.
City attorney first, what did he do?
That's what he did.
Yeah, that's
Pretty well.
basically
That's what I
all.
just asked him.
Let's see if I had anything else. Marijuana. So it seems to me there was one other thing I wanted to mention that I got off track. If I remember it, I'll holler before the end of the meeting. That's all I have right now, Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
thank you.
Second.
No executive
No,
session.
no, we actually have two subjects.
Oh, we do? Well, okay. Someone else is going to call it, I guess, about,
Explore program?
you want me to talk about that now?
No, I thought that was the other issue.
I apparently have been asked to draft a resolution which would approve an Explorer program in association with the Florence Police Department. The Explorers are older Boy Scouts, and I'm assuming Girl Scouts also, who specialize in certain areas, and the point of these programs is to get real-world experience in whatever real-world interests they have. There are Explorer programs associated with police departments across the country. I have a couple concerns that, before I draft the resolution, I'd like fleshed out. One is to what extent the Explorer is going to be covered by a general liability policy for any acts which the Explorer might, any negligent acts that the Explorer Scout might cause that does injury to third parties. I know we have CIRSA coverage, and to some extent I think CIRSA probably covers volunteer activities such as that, but I'd want that clarified. And secondly, it's a little unclear to me if the Explorer Scout gets hurt in the course of an event. Number one, who's going to pay the Explorer's medical bills? Is the Explorer going to have his own medical policy? If it's a minor, it's probably dependent upon the parents having a medical policy. Or does the Explorer Post have a medical policy that would cover the Explorer Scout? Thirdly, I would hope that there would be some kind of insurance where if the Explorer caused damage during the course of an event, that the city would be indemnified by somebody, and that may be part of the general comprehensive coverage that the Explorer Post would provide. But in my mind, I don't have any. Obviously, I'll do what you want me to do. I'd love to do the resolution. I'm familiar with the Explorers, great outfit. But in my mind, I would like to have these liability questions answered before we move ahead.
Charlotte, did you have something?
I've been working with Chief De Laurentiis to get this program going, and speaking to Brandy, who is the state commander for the Boy Scouts of America, I've relayed the concerns to her, and her response is that first is the Explorer's private insurance. If they don't have private insurance, it then gets absorbed or split between, and depending on the situation, between the Boy Scouts of America insurance, which is purchased by the Explorer when they first join the program, and the general liability, depending on the scenario. But if you would like her number and to contact her directly, I think she can answer all these questions.
Well, I'd like to have a copy of the policy.
Okay, you can find the copy of the policy on learningforlife.org.
Well, I went there.
It's in the PDF files on the side when it goes under forms.
Okay.
Yep.
And I'd like for the city to be named as an additional insured on that policy, if they'll do that.
I'm not sure. That's questions that we would have to ask Brandy in Pueblo. Her office, she's willing to come down and meet with us. Actually, I think she's coming down tomorrow for the open house for the interested children or the interested youth that want to be in the program. So she'll be here tomorrow night. I can get her card and give it to you, or if you want to come down and meet her, I think she can answer all these questions for you.
Yeah, if you get me your contact information then. So you say there's a copy of the liability policy on the website?
She pointed me in the direction of a PDF that gives all the details of the Explorer Club, and in there was an insurance question, the frequently asked questions about insurance, and so on and so forth. So.
And do they bring their own medical insurance to table, or do you know?
As far as I know, the Explorers have to pay $24 for insurance through the Boy Scouts of America. And so that $24 then gives them a policy coverage through the Boy Scouts of America while they're acting as an Explorer.
Medical coverage, or?
I believe it does cover medical. She did say there was a scenario where a kid got hurt in a camp in Pueblo, and the Boy Scouts of America insurance did go ahead and pay for the broken arm of the child.
Okay, well, that's why the resolution's not done. I just don't have
I'll get the
answers.
citizen information
Okay,
on
thanks.
the liability and named insured and the medical, workman's comp, that type of thing.
Well, it wouldn't be comp, though, because this person, I'm assuming this person's a volunteer and not employed by the city. Is that right?
They are,
The Explorer?
yeah, but these,
The Explorer's not going to get paid, is
no.
he?
The police reserves are similar, they don't get paid, but they are by law covered under state comp. Explorers might not, they would maybe come under the city's VAMP policy, which is a volunteer accident medical policy. They have to enroll in it, and then the city has to pay $3 a year per volunteer person for that VAMP policy, if they're not covered already under a medical policy of Boy Scouts.
David might give us an answer.
Larry, did you have something?
No, please, Stephanie.
Just have a quick question, Mr. Frederickson. Back in December when we brought this up, I thought we supplied a packet with some information to you.
I have 2 pages. There's a very broad outline of what an Explorer post is. I did go on the website to look to see what insurance coverages were there, and I just didn't see it. I must have been looking in the wrong place.
Well, now that I have these questions, apparently there must have been a communications gap. I will tomorrow get with the lady from Boy Scouts from the Pueblo office. I took the notes you just asked for, get those questions answered, and I will email you with all those questions tomorrow, so we can move on with this or not move on with it, one of the two. Like you said, Boy Scouts Explorer program has been around since the early 70s, and there's probably well over 500 police departments that have Explorer Post problems, so I'm hoping that these questions may have been answered, from other police agencies and municipalities who actually open their own Explorer Post program. So I will get those answered for you tomorrow completely, and I apologize if we had a miscommunication gap. I thought with the information we gave you was enough for you to go on to research it for the resolution.
Well, and I appreciated the information, but I never really did get clear direction from the council that this is what you all want to do. Have you talked about this at any point, and this is what you want to do?
We wanted to move forward.
Okay.
I'm sure. That was
Yeah, the actual direction from the council, the minutes were that it would go back and we would have something drafted. We just didn't communicate that with you very well.
I think we're trying to offer the young, that 14 to 20 year age group, the youth, something, number one, that they can get interested in, possibly pursue a career in law enforcement. I know they even have a Fire Explorer program now too, that has evolved as a Police Explorer program. Tries to give the kids a little more to do and show them that, who the policemen in our community are and what they do, and hopefully get a little more interaction with them and guide them in the right direction.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be dragging my feet on this.
This was just a communication.
I think that's what it was.
We're going to take care of it.
Okay.
You done?
Yep.
All right. City manager.
Okay, real quickly, January financials are here for you tonight. So those are there. The interesting thing is 2014 January revenues were $186,255.28, which is actually very good compared to most Januaries. Last year, the revenues were $55,692.11, and in 2012, they were $10,316.49. So for January, we had a pretty good revenue year, but we'll see from there. Sales tax, though, was down a little bit from last year's January. I think a lot of that is weather related, but we'll see how that goes. We had $36,943.14 was our regular sales tax collection for January. And then the mayor gave you some of the grant update today in the grant meeting. We discussed the priorities for the April 1 DOLA grant, and it was determined that we would pursue a grant for LED lights, new LED street lights, and as that is a goal of the city council, so we put that in there as the number one priority for the DOLA grant. We'll also discuss looking for grants for the basement and a few, the basement in terms of redoing the bathrooms down there and that kind of stuff. And I don't remember any other grant. I mean, I know we had a lot of discussion, but I think that's kind of the highlights of where we went. So if I'm missing something, somebody please correct me. And with that, that's all I have.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
I second that.
You did?
Roll call.
Yeah. Baker?
Aye.
Martinez?
Aye.
Edwards?
Aye.
Henninger? Aye. Filigrana?
Aye.
And Mayor Orr?
Right.
Five.
Yeah, I forgot.
Wanted to also ask for executive session to discuss two topics, water negotiations and negotiations with the county relating to the E911 consolidated services.
So,
I was just, before you adjourn, I didn't get to step in there on committee. I just want to say something real quick, Mr. Mayor. And you attended, and so did Mike. We attended a community event with Wholesome last week, and they kind of reported to us what they're doing in the community. We reported to them. They're up and running. They're on an increase, so things are getting better for them. We thanked them for the jobs they supplied for our area. They're running safe and sound out there. They've had one accident. It was a gentleman lifting tools out of the back of a pickup, strained it back a little bit. So they're running safe as far as safety for our community. They've only had one EPA violation. It was very minor. Being in the business in the past, what they do, it was a very small fine, and really it was questionable. It was just a little bit too much color in their omissions out of their stack, which really has no concerns. But they continue to, they're going to continue through this year and ongoing for their donations. They do a lot for our community, Canyon and Florence, and everything's going good up there, and we support them as a town. We sure like what they're doing for us.
okay. Anyone else?
I'll just mention one thing. Several of us will be attending the federal prison for lunch on Wednesday. It's the community outreach program that's been in existence for quite a long time, and they have a quarterly meeting, and our city manager, he is the chairman of that group. So we will be, several of us will be attending that.
Charlotte?
Marketing committee, our budget was approved by the state, so we can use $5,000 for the creative industries. So we now have a set budget to move forward with in the marketing committee, and we'll have our next meeting Thursday, and we'll be able to plan how we're going to use that budgeted money to good use.
And that's this Thursday.
This Thursday.
Okay, anyone else on their committees? No? Okay. We will now
And we now have it set up where we can leave, people can stay here if they want, and we can go into the other room.
There's somewhere to record?
Yeah, Dory's got to
All right.
record it with, so we can do that
That.
and not have to kick the people out.
All right. Want to take a 5-minute break or anything?
A motion to
Yeah.
go into executive session.
I'll make a motion that we go into executive session to discuss our water contracts with East Florence and to discuss dispatch board.
I'll second.
Have a first and second roll call, please.
Filigrana?
Aye.
Henninger?
Aye.
Edwards?
Aye.
Martinez?
Aye.
Baker?
Aye.
Mayor Orr?
Aye. So we're gonna take a 5-minute break or anything?
Is that what we do? 5-minute break before?
5-minute break. All right.